Hello, hello. Welcome to Money Mondays with Malika. I am Malika Daniels. I'm a personal finance coach and the founder of Women Who Money Plan. And I typically would go live on Thursdays, but I have switched around how I'm doing my lives now. So you can now catch me here on Mondays at 1 o'clock Eastern Time for Money Mondays with Malika. Each week, I basically go live and talk about a specific financial topic that has either maybe come up in my personal life, or maybe I've seen something kind of come up with a client or on Facebook, people talking about it. So it's a topic that I think people could benefit from hearing about. So today's topic is all about how to plan for those non-monthly bills, right? So you might have some type of plan where you know how much income you have coming in each paycheck, and then you know what your bills are for the month. You know, you have your rent or your mortgage and your garbage bill and your all your utilities and subscriptions and all that kind of stuff. And what tends to happen is we're going along thinking like you've planned for everything, and then you get hit with an unexpected bill. Let's say it's your car insurance that maybe you pay every 6 months and you forgot that the car insurance is due, or a life insurance bill to keep your life insurance going, or a Costco membership renewal, or something like that. Some type of bill that it comes pretty much each year or twice a year, but it's not consistently every month, so we tend to forget about those. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. And the reason I chose this topic is because in the last, I want to say, 3 to 4 weeks, we have paid about $2,500 in these type of bills, from life insurance to Costco memberships to a credit card renewal, gym renewal. It all came like right at the same time. And for us, we have been planning for these kind of expenses for a while now. So we have an annual fund that we keep money in for these type of expenses. So when it happens, I'm like, oh man, crap, we got this bill. But I'm like, oh wait, we got it. Like, it's all good. We have the money to cover it. And I feel like that gives me a lot of peace, that when those big unexpected bill comes up, like when my life insurance bill came and it was like almost $800, I was like, oh, this kind of sucks in the moment, but to realize like I have the money and it's not a big deal brought me a lot of peace. I'm like, okay, cool, we're good to go. So I want to make sure I share with you guys how we do that, how we know how much money to put aside for these types of bills, so that way you can have some of that peace as well. Because I'm telling you, it helps a lot when you're hit with one of those bills and then you realize you actually have the money to deal with it. Okay, so when I'm talking about these unexpected, or we call them non-monthly bills, what I should say, because they are expected. It's not an emergency. It's not something that you didn't know was ever coming. It's something that you know happens. Maybe it's your HOA. We pay our HOA, our housing association assessments once a year. So maybe it's something like that you know is coming. But we just tend to forget about it. So the first thing we need to do is list out all of those types of bills. The life insurance, car insurance, annual membership fees, credit card fees, all those different things that are just not monthly, but you're going to have to pay at some point throughout the year. Sometimes they're quarterly bills, sometimes they're annual, semi-annual, things like that. So list all those things out. List the amounts of all of those bills, okay? And then in addition to that, you also want to make sure you are listing out the dates. That's probably the most important part of when are these bills coming due. Once you have the full amount that you have for these type of annual non-monthly bills, you just add that all up. And that's where you know this is going to be the amount of money that you need in your annual account. Okay? Annual account is a thing that I think is really, really important for people to have. So it's separate from what you're using for your spending money. It's separate than what you're using to pay your monthly bills. This is an account that you set up just for these specific expenses. So once you know the total of what your annual bills are, you want to put that amount into an annual account. And there's a few ways you can do that. Sometimes people might have a lump sum, like if you get your taxes back or if you get a bonus or something like that, you might have a lump sum of money to put in that. But if not, you can do that. You can build that annual account over time, right? So you're going to figure out what the amount is that you need in that annual account. Let's say it's $5,000 that you realize like all these extra bills that come in non-monthly total about $5,000 a year. You can then divide that by 12 and then put that amount into your annual account every month. So you're slowly adding to it and building on it. And then when a bill comes, you hopefully would have the money in there to pay that bill off, and you just kind of keep adding to it over time. The more that you get used to having this annual fund, the more you'll find other ways to to kind of keep adding to it, right? And get more money in it. So maybe you have some extra money coming in because you do some door dashing one weekend. It's like you can throw that towards the annual fund if you know you have some bills coming up and you don't yet have the full amount. So there's other things you can do to add money to it, but the key is just to have that account and to know how much your total of annual bills are. That's really, really important. What else do I want to make sure to say? Another thing you can do with that account, so we mainly use that for those bills, actual bills. But you can also use this for planning ahead in life in general for events that you know are coming up. Again, these are not emergencies, so you don't want to be pulling from your emergency fund for these types of things. You know when you have a birthday coming up, you know when you have someone's wedding coming up, holidays coming up, things like that you're typically going to spend money for. So start taking into account, okay, I know come January I typically spend $300 on so-and-so's birthday. Let me start planning ahead of time and putting some money into that account so that way I am ready when January comes. Instead of January coming, I'm now blowing through my budget, having to go into debt because I wasn't planning for that account. Okay, so I think it's really important you're planning for your non-monthly bills and then also other events that are coming up. Again, events, birthdays, holidays. You can even also plan for maintenance. If you have maintenance for your home, maintenance or maintenance for your car, plan ahead. If you know you typically need to get your tires rotated. I don't know much about cars, so I don't pay attention as much. But whatever it is that you're doing maintenance-wise in your car each year, look at your past statements and see how much has that been in previous years and start planning for these. Again, like I said, these are different than what you want to be using your emergency fund for. Those are for unexpected things, like your tire blows out, right? That's an unexpected emergency, like, okay, now I need to repair this. But there are some things that you really can plan for, and it helps to reduce your stress once you have planned ahead and gotten some of that money where it needs to be ready for you to use it. We like to keep our annual fund at a high interest savings account because now we're making a little bit of interest off of that money that's sitting and waiting for something to pop up. So I think it's really important. One, you want to decide where you're going to keep those funds easily accessible to you. Another thing you can do if you're someone who uses credit cards for points, which is what we do, so you can use your credit card to actually pay the expense and then pay it back in full with your annual fund if you have the money in that account. But that's another thing instead of thinking that, I can't use my credit card. If you have the money in full to pay it off, then it's a great thing. You can use a credit card to get those points. So that's helpful as well. What else did I have in my notes? That was pretty much it. I just wanted to make sure people understood the peace of mind that comes with having an annual fund for those types of expenses. So if you've ever been hit with one of those bills that you just forgot about, like, oh, I forgot that comes every once a year, or sometimes there's different bills that come every 5 years. I think someone was just telling me about one bill that they pay, but I think it was a travel account. Every 5 years they have to pay that. But again, you want to mark that down and remind yourself of when that's coming up so that you are not caught off guard and it doesn't completely throw out your budget and throw you off for the month. I hope that helps, giving you guys some ideas on how to put together some planning ahead. That's what we're all about with Women Who Money Plan. We want to make sure we're making plans in advance for our money and not being confused about where did all my money go. So I hope this helps give you some peace figuring out how to plan for those upcoming expenses that we tend to forget about. All right, I will be back here again next week. If you'd like to learn more, you can always join my Facebook group, Women Who Money Plan. We talk about all things finances there. And of course, if you are interested in financial coaching, you can contact me by sending me a DM here, or you can go to www.womenwhomoneyplan.com and schedule a free consultation there, and we can talk about what individualized coaching would look like if that's something you would be interested in moving forward. So again, thank you so much for joining, and today I didn't keep you that long. It was a little less than 10 minutes. All right, have a great week. Take care.